Hey everyone, okay, so it is the first Q&A video that I am doing for my channel. I put a community post up and I got some questions. So this is going to be broken up into two sections. I'm going to answer some questions now and then I have to come back to it later because I have work to do. But this will be the first installment of Q&A. I'll probably end up doing this at least once a month if it goes well and you guys appreciate the answers to the questions. So, yeah, let's get started. Got a few questions. So, the first one being from President Merkin Muffley. I love that. I love that profile name. You're good people. Appreciate you. You've been around for a while. First question for the Q&A. Preferred field sharpening method for, I would assume, knives and stuff in the field. So actually, what I carry is, let me get it out here, is a Smith's handheld knife sharpener. So it's got ceramic on one side and metal on the other. This is a great little small sharpening unit that you can put in your bag, in a pocket, whatever, for sharpening a knife in the field if you need it. Normally you want to have your knife nice and sharp, you know, kind of with your pre-planning and your gear prep and everything. If you're out in the field for just a couple of days, it's really not that big of an issue if you have good quality steel for your blade. So, you know, that's the tool. Something like that is what I recommend, just having a small handheld sharpener. Smoky Mountain Knife Works, which I order knives from occasionally, they send those for free sometimes in the packages of like little extra goodies that they throw in when you order stuff from them. So that could be a route if you want to pick one up. Otherwise, you can get them, you know, any outdoor store, even probably like Walmart in some fashion or another. Same kind of deal for like sharpeners for like fillet knives and stuff, you know, and things like that. Other than that, for ad hoc sharpening of blades in the field, find a river rock with a decent amount of grit. You don't want anything too soft like limestone or sandstone or anything. You want something like granite or something similar, like a river stone that's kind of smooth and flat, and you use some water and you can use that to ad hoc kind of field sharpen a blade, and it works really well. You just have to be careful. You know, you want a little bit of grit and some resistance, and just have that good angle to use a stone to sharpen a blade. There's also it's a type of whetstone called novaculite. That is a natural stone. It's also called like Arkansas something or another stone. That can be found out in the wild, and that is a stone they use for whetstones. So you can use that as well in the field to sharpen with a little bit of water, or you can even use like an oil, like a gun oil or something, to do blade sharpening. But I recommend just having one of these. It's easy for if you really need it. So just have good quality steel blades. So thanks for the question. I appreciate it. Okay, the second question. You had two questions, Twin Arrow Survival, so I'm going to answer your first one here. It's what do you carry in your car or vehicle as far as for snow kit if you get trapped or stranded? Being that you guys, I mean, up in the mountains in your neck of the woods, kind of in the southeast, like, you know, you get Appalachians and Smokies and everything, but what I have in my vehicle, because I live in the far northwest, Midwest, far north Midwest. What I keep in my vehicle, a shovel, obligatory. Have a shovel. You can have an e-tool. I go with like a shorter kind of gardening shovel. The shovel head is very similar to an e-tool shovel, but it's even a little bit deeper and bigger. Something like that, or a full-size gardening shovel or snow shovel to try and dig out your tires or create a path, whatever you need to do. Also, a large bag of cat litter or sand is going to be really good to have in your vehicle. It adds some weight on your rear tires to help keep traction, but you can also use that to pour in front of your drive wheels, your drive tires, to get some traction to get out of anywhere if you end up getting stuck. Other things to have, Sorry, I just got a message. Other things to have, tow rope, tow chain, is really good to have. Something like that with your screwing like U-joints for hitches or tow points on a vehicle to pull somebody else out or get your vehicle pulled out. That's good to have. You could do tire chains. That's not... If there's a lot of snow and a lot of ice, I mean, we're talking like what you see like out in the Sierra in like northern Utah and like other areas, and in some areas up here in the North Midwest. You could do tire chains as well, but just have good tires on your vehicle. I know in the South they really like to run their tires pretty bald, so just have good all season fresh tires with good aggressive tread on them. You don't have to go for like a Goodyear Wrangler, off-road tire or anything, although that's a great tire for winter. I have Yokohama Geolandar tires on my truck. They're all season tires, road tires and off-road tires, and they handle the snow fantastically. So just make sure you have good tires too. The other thing, just a standard emergency kit. Obviously, you should have a medical kit in your vehicle, of whatever kind. I keep a full TCCC or CLS bag in my truck, but that could be a little overkill. But I mean, it's good to have a medical kit, and then just put a little like milk crate or a bag of some provisions. So emergency blanket, maybe some hand warmers. If you want to put like a sleeping bag or sleep system in your vehicle, and water and food are going to be big ones. At least like a gallon or two of water, and then like a couple of MREs or something. You can get them cheap, or even just some other jerky and Nutri-Grain bars and things like that. Something to help keep you over if you end up being stuck in your vehicle for 2 days. Things like that, food and water, and then also emergency signaling devices. Chem lights, road flares, reflective signalers, flashlight and batteries, things like that. Spare portable battery charger for your phone, so that you can keep some juice in your phone. Things like that. Those are really that's really the stuff that I recommend. So, good shovel, sand or cat litter, tow line with the appropriate connector, and then just a couple other things, emergency blanket, food, water, some medical supplies, and then light signaling and just things to help keep you warm, because you may not want to run the gas out of your vehicle just running the heat all the time. It just depends on what the failure of your vehicle is. Again, situation dependent, but those items are good to have in your vehicle. So those are all the things I recommend. So thank you for the question. That was a good one, so I appreciate it. Okay, next questions. Let's see here. So, from MD, my buddy, Supreme Nazgul, 2 questions. The most dangerous situation of your service, my military service or security contracting? I'm not sure which one you mean. When I was in the military, in the Army, I mean, deployments, especially in that time frame, so like 2007, like OIF 6, OIF 7, every day was dangerous, man. Constant firefights, IEDs everywhere. Pucker factor 9,000 all the time. Contracting was a little bit better, but I mean there was still a lot of risk there, especially being in conflict zones. You have to deal with ambushes, IEDs, all kinds of situations. So every day could end up being extremely terrifying and exciting. I mean, no one real situation sticks out in my mind besides when we found really complex IEDs that could have wiped out multiple vehicles at one time, and it was just like, holy shit. Other times, just intense firefights that lasted for hours. Hours and hours. And then our base, Fob Falcon, would get mortared and rocket attacked every night, without fail. There was insurgent mortar teams in pickup trucks that would basically shoot and scoot. They would launch mortars at our camp and then take off, And this went on for a little while, and then we got those guys, and then somebody else would pop up and do it. So that was a big risk too. I mean, you could be sleeping and all of a sudden, fucking, rocket could come in and take out your hooch. So that's just the name of the game with that stuff. It was dangerous. The other question: how would you live the last day on Earth? So I mean, what's the situation here? Am I like just gonna die the next day, or is like the world going to end, kind of thing, like obliterated by an asteroid or something? Those things kind of factor into how I would approach things. But I would probably wake up and get around, and then I would go party my ass off. Go go just go party with some ladies and have a good time and just party and just live it up. And then probably later in the day I would go out into the woods and really just kind of take in the view and enjoy some nature. Probably some range time in there too. I would probably wake up, go do some range time, go do some go have a blast, shooting a bunch of stuff, and then go party my ass off for a long time, and then go spend some time in nature until everything ends, whatever that situation is. That fairly simple in that, but that would be that would be a really good day. Last day on Earth would be going to the range and just shooting a bunch of guns, and then going and partying, banging some chicks, and then going out in the woods and enjoying nature and enjoying the peace and the view and just appreciating it all until it all ended. I think that's that would be a pretty damn good day. It would be a long day too. I'd be sure to wake up early to make sure just to take full advantage of everything. So hopefully that answers your question. Good questions. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Okay. So I guess really the next two questions kind of in tandem with each other, but we'll start with Apocalypse Survivor, your question. I appreciate it, man. You're good people too. Should the U.S. do a special operation in the Solomon Islands to expose and remove politicians that are taking Chinese money, or to prevent China from having a naval base in the Pacific? The Solomon Islands thing, man, that's a really strange it's a very strange situation. China already has influence in the Pacific. I mean, South China Sea and the Pacific Ocean literally connect to each other. And China, with all their island building and everything else, they already have a vested interest, not just in the South China Sea, but also into starting to try and control some of the Pacific. Also, China is very active in illegal fishing around the Pacific, and even going into foreign territorial waters to illegally fish to sustain their population and their food economics and infrastructure and stuff. They do illegal fishing and whaling. But when it comes to the Solomon Islands, yeah, it's a very touchy situation. The Solomon Islands have, for a long time, have been, a U.S. and Australian ally when it comes to, all the way to World War II and even before, with naval refueling station support and things like that. Because like a U.S. Coast Guard ship was just turned away from stopping there to fuel not long ago. I think you might have been in a live stream when Will from Gratified to Secrets and I had talked about that. But yeah, we had talked about that then a little bit. But I think the Solomon Islands definitely need a little bit of a wake-up call and some incentive to not get involved with China for the sake of their own autonomy and sovereignty, but also just for global national security interests overall. China is trying to spread their influence and power all over the place, and it's not just the Solomon Islands. But one less little strategic point that China does not have influence over is going to be a big thing. Solomon Islands have already taken Chinese money, and they're allowing Chinese ships to berth there and refuel and things like that. So an immediate special operation, I mean, you could see one of the alphabet agencies doing a black op there, possibly. I think more so it's going to be on the diplomatic side with some heavy incentive monetarily and posturing militarily and sanctions and otherwise, because we do supply the Solomon Islands with a lot of aid and support and commerce as well. So incentivize, I think, is the right way to go with that. I'm an analyst. I do analyst stuff. I'm not a politician, so it's hard for me to say what would be the right move. I would like to think that incentivization, and if that doesn't work, a little more heavy-handed action would be the appropriate course. But again, some way above my pay grade, even though it's interesting to pay attention to, and we all should pay attention to things like that. So hopefully that kind of answers your question there. It's an interesting one, so thank you. And let's see here. The other question that you had, Twin Arrow Survival 2.0, again, thank you. Where do you think the USA is headed for 2023? Man, it's kind of loaded. It's hard to say, man. There's a lot of ways that it could go. There's a lot of good things that could happen, and there's a lot of really, 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 really awful things that could happen to the point of World War III. I'm an objective observer. I take in a lot of observations. I take in a lot of data and analysis and things like that, on an intelligence side, and with everything involved with, my line of work in contracting and security consulting and things like that. So I see that side of it. I try to be as objective as I can about certain things, and I don't like to be political in my videos, but obviously there's some things that, everybody has a vested interest in for the sake of their rights and freedom, as by definition, freedom. So we just a couple of days ago, we just saw them overturn the bump stock thing. So when it comes to HR 1808, that needs to get shut down right away, because it is a direct infringement on the Second Amendment. Obviously, I'm a big proponent for the Second Amendment. I don't like to be political, but, when it comes to affecting my ability to do what the hell I want, and enjoy firearms and firearm culture and how it affects my job and instructing and everything else, yeah, I care about that. But, that's a big one, is Second Amendment needs to be preserved, full stop. So I'm hoping more of that, like with the overturn of the bump stock ban, comes in 2023. I think that's going to be a big move. That also plays into now the Republicans control the majority, barely, in the House of Representatives. Ideally, some things that would have been voted in and passed last year, like HR 1808 in the initial steps, but, it has to go to Senate now and everything. Hopefully more of those ridiculous overstepping and overreaching bills are shut down by the majority. That could be something that we can hope for in 2023 as time goes on. Insofar as other things like economics-wise, data does not lie, in large. Sometimes there are factors that don't come into play where it does end up skewing the results, but data, just raw data, when it comes to that, we're going to see some more food woes. We're going to see more resource issues and economic issues. It's just a fact. The world, as it is using 135% of natural resources. That includes, food, fresh water, everything. 135%. The Earth cannot replenish that. We are using more than the Earth can, regrow and things like that. So we're already at a deficit, and we have been for a while. That needs to change, but it's going to affect goods and the price of goods across the country. You're going to see the prices of steak, chicken, and all that. You're going to see that go up. General goods overall, you're going to see that go up. I forget who it was that said, stagflation, called something stagflation, a stagnant inflation. So the economy as a whole is becoming somewhat stagnant, but yet everything's inflating still. There's still inflation going on. And unfortunately, I don't know if that's going to change. I hope that inflation stops and that it does to decrease. I really hope it does. But what we're seeing right now for the cost of goods in the grocery stores, I mean, normally what a grocery bill would be maybe $250 to $300 normally, it's $500 now for my bi-weekly grocery stop. And I know that's a lot of people are seeing the same things. My prices are really good in my state. Some states, 2-3 times the price of what my stuff is here. So we might still see some of that trend, unfortunately. I don't want to see that. It's going to get to a point where people cannot afford groceries. If it stays on the track that it is, which is not good. And I'm laughing about it. I kind of have a dark sense of humor, but I'm kind of chuckling about it. This is one of my ways to kind of cope with it, kind of deal with it. It's so ridiculous. Same with the fuel stuff. We're seeing what's happening with OPEC and everything else with oil and fuel. Prices have been fluctuating a little bit. They would go down, going up a little bit, going down. Our strategic reserve is depleted. That's awful. That is awful. That is the stupidest thing to tap into a strategic reserve and not replace what we're taking out of it. You need to cycle that fuel, obviously, but you need to replace it, and they're not doing that. Country's setting itself up for failure there. That's a big issue too. Apart from the inflation in prices. Housing, real estate, not a buyer's market, still isn't. I've been trying to buy land for 5 years. 3.5, 4 years ago, prices were still great. I had a shit experience with a couple of realtors and stuff, and Veterans United Home Loans. Fuck them. And it didn't work out. And then everything started to inflate like crazy, and now land is 3 times the price of what it normally should be in my area. And I'm trying to buy land to build a house. I want to build a house with my own hands. And it's very difficult right now to be able to secure land in the acreage that I want because the price is astronomically higher than it should be. Another inflation issue. So that needs to change. Is the bubble going to pop? We'll see. It might here in 2023. We'll see if it does. And it's going to suck for a lot of people, but if the bubble pops, it's going to give me an opportunity to get the land I want. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, but I'm not looking forward to it in the fact that a lot of people are going to lose their homes. And that's not good. So we're going to see what happens with this bubble thing. So, all in all, where's the USA headed? I don't know, man. It's a rocky road, and all we can do is observe and try to correct things as they come. Not like we, the people, can do all that much. I mean, we can, but, it's going to come down to private companies and state and federal government correcting a lot of things, which, how these people are right now. They're probably not going to. They're going to just try and just maintain it for what it is right now, which is not good. People are going to go bankrupt. I know a lot of people that are tapping into savings that they've saved up just to pay for fuel and mortgage and everything else because prices have skyrocketed. So it's going to be a pretty interesting, quite possibly rocky road for us in this coming year. Insofar as prospect of war, I don't know, man. It could go any way. All it's going to take is for one major incident to kick off where somebody finally goes, okay, nope, we're going to war. Because there's been a couple of other incidences lately that could have potentially sparked something, but didn't. It was avoided through diplomatic dialogue and other means. But that doesn't mean that something else couldn't happen here in the near future, like Taiwan invasion, or something like that directly impacts the U.S. and other countries where we could descend into another conflict. We'll see what happens. A lot of wait and see, man. So I appreciate the question. I appreciate the questions from everyone in this Q&A. There wasn't too many. A lot of people didn't see it. That's okay, because we'll do a round 2 probably next month. I might try and do one of these Q&As every month. I'm still not at enough subscribers and viewers to do live streams. And also, with that, I will again say, when I hit 1,500 subscribers, I'm almost at 600 now. When I hit 1,500 subscribers, I'm initiating that giveaway of the MFH Type 83, Pattern 83 SIDF style battle jacket system that I customized, as well as a second place winner is going to get a pair of brand new Mechanics original multicam combat gloves. So remember that, like, share, subscribe. I don't like saying that, but get it out there, you know, because the sooner I can get those subs in, the sooner I can initiate that giveaway, and somebody is going to get some very useful kit. Or two people are going to get some very useful kit, depending on how it works out. So I will link that video in the description below. And again, thanks for all the questions, everyone. Hopefully I answered them in a way that helps you. If there's more questions, I will put another community post up next month asking for Q&A questions, and I will do another video answering them. So thank you again, and in the meantime, metal up, stay strapped, or get clapped. Out.